All right, guys. 7:58, and we are about to hit the road. Just dropped the little one off at school. Coffee's ready. Rubik's Cube is solved. So let's get a move on. Riding down the rural back roads of Michigan, guys. So I'm heading into Ohio today, and we're going to be doing some work for a PacSun. They have one single lonely rooftop unit, and my guys were there about 3-4 weeks ago replacing a compressor in this old Trane unit. I want to say it's maybe 13 years old. I could be wrong. I don't really remember all the specifics because I wasn't there. But they replaced the compressor on it, and shortly after the compressor was replaced, they found a leak in the condensing coil. I'm not real sure how that worked because I know there was recovery done on the initial compressor changeout, so I'm not sure if this is just a little tiny leak and there was still a little bit of refrigerant to recover. I don't know all those details, but the condensing coil does need to be replaced. I quoted them a brand new rooftop unit just because of the age. The heat exchanger on this thing looks okay. It's not the best. They'll probably get another season or two out of it if they're lucky. But they didn't want to replace the unit, so instead we are going to be replacing the condensing coil on it. Now it's nothing too crazy. However, it's about, I want to say, 28-30 degrees out today. No, it looks like we're in Sylvania, so we are in Ohio now. Anyway, it's about 28-30 degrees outside here today, so charging the unit's going to be a little bit tricky. Now, it's at a mall, and in a situation like this where I have to charge an outside rooftop unit or condensing coil or whatever, whenever I'm doing any charging outside, if at all possible, I like to take my refrigerant tank and I'll just set it in some hot water at the beginning of the job, and by the time I actually need that refrigerant, there should be enough pressure built up in the system or built up in the tank that I can just take it up on the roof and charge it without any sort of issue. But I don't really have that option at this location, so I might end up using a charging jacket or something. I'm not real sure. We'll have to do some in the field engineering. We'll have to get creative with this situation. What I always could do is just take my recovery machine and just sort of hook it up backwards, so I'm pulling refrigerant out of the refrigerant tank and forcing it into the rooftop unit. That's an option as well, but I don't like to do that too much, just because in my opinion, I feel if I'm running, and I could put a dryer in line, but in my opinion, I feel like if I'm running refrigerant through that recovery machine, I run the risk of possibly contaminating the refrigerant. But again, if I run it through a dryer, I could probably negate that risk, but we'll see. We'll have to get on site and play it by ear, but I'll bring you guys back along for the ride, show you some highlights and all the fun stuff going on. I just seen some snowflakes here, so, and by snowflakes I mean actual snowflakes, frozen precipitation falling from the sky, not the other sort of snowflake, because this is Ohio and I don't want to offend any Ohioans. So, alrighty guys, let me cut you loose. I'll bring you back in just a little bit. Look at the size of that. I have to upgrade my pump one of these days. Maybe I'll get the MR45 though. I wonder if that's any good. There's our new condensing coil, guys. I had to uncrate it to wedge it in here, but should be safe. I don't see it falling over. I got everything strapped down around it, so. Here's our next stop, guys. Young Supply, because I need some air filters. Because while we're here changing out this condensing coil, I'm going to replace the filters and also do some preventative maintenance for another customer at this same location. Oh, look, they got a Christmas tree. Alright, so here's my new toy I picked up. CPS heater strap for refrigerant cylinders. So we're going to test this thing out today, see how it works. Like I said, it's not too terribly cold out, 30 degrees, which is like a fall day, for me anyway. 115 volts. It's got automatic shut off at 130 degrees. So, let's see. I've never used one of these before, so hopefully it works great. Let's get it done. Look at this guy. Parked right next to a no parking sign. Anyway, I don't really care about that. So that's where we're going. Right up there. Might be kind of hard to tell, but there's a false wall up there. And right behind that false wall is our unit. So I'm hoping mall security is going to let me set a ladder up next to the building, at least to get all my equipment up there. Because if not, I have to go way across to the other side of the mall, load everything up, get up the stairs to the roof access, and then walk all the way across the mall to this side of the building, which is just ridiculous. I mean, I'm looking at probably an hour just to get all my equipment up there if I have to go that route. So fingers crossed that mall security is going to be nice to me today. Just got up here on the roof of the mall. There's my roof access. And we're about to make this journey across the rooftop here. I had to go back through security and get something handled real quick. So I got my cart halfway to our destination here. I'm going to flip this camera around and show you exactly what we're dealing with here. Now, this is one of those situations where it almost would be better to be a residential tech today because it's really, really cold out. I have to walk all the way. If you see that opening right there, straight ahead, I have to walk all the way over there, around that corner, and then further over to the side of the roof to get to the unit that I'm working on. So, a little bit of walking. Gonna get my steps in today, about 15,000 steps. So, let's get after it, guys. Look at that. I could just do a Mission Impossible right now. Cut this skylight open, grab me some jewelry, and climb back up on the roof, huh? No, I wouldn't do that. I'm way too out of shape to be climbing down ropes and all that fun junk. So yeah, still walking. Still walking. Here's my cart that I left abandoned a little bit ago. Now getting over these gas lines won't be too terrible, but when I get to that upper level, that's all rocks. So I'm not sure how well this cart is gonna handle on rocks. So that'll be exciting. All right, there's a condensing coil we're changing out. If all goes well. Little 10-ton unit. I think it's probably about 12, 13 years old-ish. There's our old condenser, guys. Doesn't look too bad, but we had a leak right in behind this elbow. So there really wasn't much we could do besides replace it. In a pinch, I've seen guys where they'll just cut off the circuit, cut this in half, braze it shut, and you can try to isolate that circuit, but it wasn't really an emergency. So we went with the more of a permanent fix. There's our new coil, nice and shiny and clean. We're just gonna get her brazed in place here and do a pressure check here in a few minutes. I'll tell you guys, there's something demeaning about getting yelled at by a mall cop. No offense to mall cops. I'm sure there's a bunch of cool mall cops out there, but today me and mall cops just don't seem to be seeing eye to eye. So it started off that they wouldn't give me permission to set a ladder up next to the building and rope all my equipment up and condensing coil and all that stuff up in a timely manner. So I had to do the long walk of shame across the rooftop. And then when I went to drop that old condensing coil down, and I wouldn't even say drop it down, me and my partner here, we just lowered it down with a rope, and we lowered it right down into a bush, away from doors, away from sidewalks, just right down into a bush. However, there was a mall security guard that watched us do that, and they came racing over, jumped out of the truck, and yelled at us for doing that, saying we could have hit somebody, even though this side of the roof is like 12 foot tall. And unless people are walking through a wall and into the bush, probably not going to hit anybody. So anyway, I'm driving around to the side right now to pick it up and get it out of that bush, make sure nobody else gets hurt. But just wanted to rant on that for a little bit. All right, guys, there's the coil that we dropped down. So you can tell it's not really that far away, maybe 15, 20 feet. I know I said 12 foot earlier. It's not too crazy. There's my filters. There goes the security personnel. There's the door that only certain people can come out of. So it's not really that dangerous, but I guess rules are there to protect the dumb sometimes. Let's see what we got going on. All right, as you can tell, condensing coil's been brazed in. Filter dryer was changed. We're down to about 900 microns. The other thing I wanted to show you guys, this fancy charging jacket over here. Let's see, I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but it's roughly 117. Now I did have it inside that bucket just to keep the wind off of it, kind of insulated a little bit, and I was up to 132 degrees. So it's not a bad little device. The only issue I have with it is it really only goes, I don't know, roughly 3/4 of the way around the tank, and it really only goes in the middle. So I mean, it's going to warm the middle part up, and yeah, eventually, you know, the heat's going to transfer inside the tank to the refrigerant on top and bottom and all that stuff, and eventually it's going to warm up. But if you are in a situation where you need a charging jacket like this, like I'm in, chances are you're outside and you're going to need probably the entire tank to be covered. So I almost think I'd be better off just taking an electric blanket, plugging in an electric blanket, wrapping that entire tank in an electric blanket and setting it inside of a box or a bucket, whatever I can stuff it into, and just letting it warm up for a while. And chances are an electric blanket would be much cheaper than that. So that's just my 2 cents. Real quick, guys, I want to talk about something that I've been mulling over in my head. So once we do get the refrigerant inside this unit, I'm going to have a hard time properly commissioning this system. And by properly commissioning the system, I mean letting it run, checking my pressures, superheat, subcooling, all that fun stuff, because it's so cold outside. Now, if there are any ambient lockouts, I can bypass those, not a problem. My low pressure switches, without cutting the wires, I can't really bypass those, but I brought this cardboard up here so I can block off the condenser and drive up pressures. Now, that's not a big deal, but the problem is if I do that, I won't really know what the, I guess, the ambient temperature would be. Because at that point I'm blocking off the condenser, so my ambient temperature, my rule of thumb, 30 degrees above ambient, is kind of out the window at that point. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is scheduling us to come back out here on a much warmer day when we're above 50 degrees, maybe in the 60s, probably after the winter time, and we'll probably have to recommission the system when it's nice and warm out and we can check everything in its natural running conditions. So. Hey guys, just a quick recap of that last job we did there. Condensing coil install went smooth, no issues, no further leaks. However, when we went to power it back on, we found out that we had no power going to the disconnect. So I went down to the actual retail location, looked in the breaker panel, and could not find a single a single breaker for that unit or the unit next to it. So the manager of the location didn't know anything about hidden sub panels or anything. So we essentially left the unit with no power because we need to get a hold of the mall maintenance or the mall engineer and see exactly where those units get their power from. And then we'll just have to come back and recommission the system. But nothing too crazy going on. Kind of a neat one today. A little bit of walking, but that's all right. It won't kill me to burn some calories, you know. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for me. And yeah, if you have any follow-up questions or ideas, opinions, shoot me an email. curioushvacguy@gmail.com. All right? And we'll see you on the next one.